I never thought I would say this, but SEO is officially dead.
What do you mean?
So this is something that was really surprising to me. We've always heard like Google has captured like 90-ish% of the
Yeah.
search market share. So there was an article that came out by Neil Patel, and he's kind of one of the big SEO people in the space. And he kind of laid out all the searches that were taking place across more than just Google, but also social media, everything.
Oh,
Google's actual market share for all the searches that take place is actually closer to like 18%.
really?
It's
That's way less than I
it's
thought.
crazy. Now, if we
Huh.
just segment like just search engine traffic, Google still has, I think, 84%, if I'm remembering correctly.
So,
Like, there's been other
yeah.
players that have come into the space and taken some of Google's market share, which is
Who
pretty
would those
crazy as
players
well.
be?
The biggest one would be Microsoft, Bing, right? Like,
Really?
and I think it's mostly because they're integrating with OpenAI,
Oh, so
and so you
ChatGPT.
Chat GPT, like yeah. So it's kind of all packaged together, and I think that's one of the biggest reasons why people are using that more often, because you can get basically use Chat GPT for free if you go through Bing.
Interesting.
And so, but there's also like, I mean, there's still kind of Yahoo. It's a
Is there
very,
though?
very small
Yeah, I was gonna
percentage.
say.
There's an interesting one that's actually gained some traffic share or market share over the years, and it's DuckDuckGo.
Oh yeah.
They're like a privacy centered browser, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And stuff. So like, there's not a lot of big players in the search engine space. Google still is king there,
Yeah.
but searches overall, like when we talk about like where people are searching, it has moved from search engines to you name it, like social media. Like people are searching on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Pinterest, right?
Right.
Pinterest is still a big
Pinterest is
player in the
huge.
search field or search industry, because like people are typing up stuff like looking for certain things,
Yeah, that
right?
makes sense.
And so search engine optimization, we really need to move away from that term, because it's not search engine optimization anymore. It's search everywhere optimization.
Oh, that makes sense.
You have to be everywhere these days, which can be pretty intimidating for a small business owner. But it's just the reality of the world that we live in now. Like, we have to be spreading out our content over every platform we possibly can. And a lot of it will come from knowing who your customer is, right?
Right.
Like if you're marketing towards, say, baby boomers, right? They're not going to be on TikTok, most
No.
likely.
No.
And so
But they would be on Facebook.
they would be on
Facebook's
Facebook.
Facebook demographic has drastically changed since I was in high school when
Right.
it was like new and this is the new platform. Everyone migrated from MySpace to Facebook.
Yeah.
Now Facebook is used a lot for like Facebook Marketplace,
Mm-hmm.
which is a big one. But then the demographic of people on Facebook is crazy. It's moved up a lot,
Right.
rather than the younger kids, which when you look at younger kids on social media, it's Snapchat is huge still. TikTok, Instagram still pretty big, but even Instagram's moving a little bit up as
It is.
well. But Facebook is kind of, I mean, my grandma's on, like, she's 86 and she's on She just got
Nice.
Facebook. You know what I mean?
That's awesome.
So like, and she wants to keep up. Mostly of it's like, oh, I want pictures of my grandkids. Like I want to see what's going on
Right.
with certain people.
So they join the spaces to where their kids or grandkids are posting stuff.
Yeah,
because they want to
right.
be involved in their life.
Exactly. So yeah, that makes sense though. That people are using social media a lot. I use social media a lot. I think the first, if I hear of a company that I might like, I actually probably search on it on Instagram before I do Google.
Yeah.
You know?
So back in the early days of like search engines, we had different search engines for different things. So like, I don't know if you remember Ask Jeeves. Do you remember that?
I never
You
used
never
it.
used it. So I
never
used it. Like,
okay.
but like you had very specific purposes for the tools that you used in the early days of the web.
yeah.
And then it kind of just became Google, right? Google became
Yeah.
the everything. You wanted to know something, you Google it.
Yeah, right.
But lately, with social media and also AI,
Yeah.
it's become actually a little bit more back to like what it used to be. Like you have very specific use cases to where you go to a certain platform and search there
Yeah.
before you go to Google.
It makes sense. I think for me, I use ChatGPT so a lot for, let's say, I've been cooking a lot more,
Hmm.
whether that's, healthy recipes, which is something that that's all my social media feed is nowadays is people making hacks with cottage cheese and Greek yogurt and
Macro friendly.
yeah,
Yeah.
macro friendly, high protein stuff. And I'll actually, if I'm looking up something, if I don't have a specific video for it, if I want a specific dessert or I want something, I'll type into ChatGPT. Like, I have vanilla Greek yogurt, I have peanut butter, I have, sugar-free chocolate chips. Like, what should I make? And it'll just spit out something. Be like, do this.
That's
And it's like,
amazing.
oh, that's way nicer than me trying to search for it. And then if you've ever been to any of these recipe sites, the recipe sites are horrible.
They're so bad.
They're so bad. And you have to scroll like an infinite scroll all the way down
Yeah.
to just to get their actual recipes.
Google has actually made a push for recipe sites to put the recipe higher up on the page.
Oh,
because
that'd be awesome.
they're all just filled with so much fluff,
So much
and
ads, and
like,
it's so annoying.
so Google's actually started to rank the people who put their recipe closer to the top of the page.
Yeah, that's cool.
So yeah, I mean, and the reason why people are doing that, like where there's so much content before the recipe, it's all about search engine optimization.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, they're just trying to rank better on Google by putting more content. Because if you have just a tiny bit of content on there,
Yeah.
it's called thin content. Like,
Yeah.
you just don't have a lot of words on there.
That makes sense.
And so they're trying to flesh out their content. To
So then
be
they'll
like,
be like, so my grandma had this brownie recipe, and let me tell you about her life. And you're like, I don't want to hear about your grandma's life. I
I'm
want to
sure
know.
she was a very nice lady.
I want to know
but
how
I really
how
don't
much
care.
protein's in this. Tell me how to make it.
Right. Yeah. So that is a really good thing that Google's pushed for in like kind of recent months.
Yeah.
Is get those recipes up higher on
Yeah,
the page.
that's cool.
And then you can still have that content. It's just below, and if people are interested, they'll read it. But
Yeah. But yeah, I can see like how even I've searched has changed. Social media is a big thing, and then ChatGPT has been a huge difference.
yeah, and
Over the
and,
last year and a half.
yeah,
2 years.
AI is going to transform the space. And I think about like, people would, like, interior designers, they'd search on Pinterest and stuff like that. But now you can ask ChatGPT to create it for you, to create a space for you, and you give it some parameters and things like that, and
Yeah.
it does it.
Yeah.
You're not just having to sift through hundreds or thousands of images.
Yeah.
It just does it for you.
So as a small business owner, if search engine optimization's dead, it's really search everywhere. What is some advice you would give those small business owners to make sure they are everywhere?
I mean, we kind of touched a little bit on it, like understanding your audience and where they're living online. That is going to be your number one priority, because then that way, if you know where your customer's living online, you can actually then say, okay, here are the platforms that person is on. I'm just going to focus on these platforms.
Makes
You're not going to waste your time across like everything.
Right.
That being said, there could be opportunities in some platforms that your primary target market is not located. You might have some other secondary markets in some other platforms. With AI and with software and everything, like, we're getting more and more programs that basically you upload it once and then it distributes it across a ton of different ones. That can save a massive amount of time and get you some opportunities that maybe you wouldn't have had you had to do it manually.
That makes sense.
Right. So understanding your target market, getting to where they are online, and just keeping up to date with what's going on with AI, because that's always going to be changing. That's something that we're going to be focusing a lot on, is keeping up with those AI trends and what small business owners are supposed to do about it. So, definitely, if you haven't subscribed yet, subscribe and keep following us, because these updates, they're going to happen really fast, and we'll try to keep up with it as best we can.
Thanks for listening, guys. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. Leave a comment below on if you agreed with today's topic, disagreed with today's topic. Let's start a discussion to figure out the best practices to grow your small business.
Please visit us at launchingpros.com, where you can find more information on how to grow your business as an entrepreneur.